To be a young talent in the NBA, it can take being criticized, along with time and experience, to get over that next step to win a championship. This particular player, despite being one of the most skilled and talented players at his position, his name has been slandered and shamed for his inconsistencies and lack of a motor. But when you really look back on how far he has come, he truly has had quite the journey. This is the Deandre Ayton story. Deandre Ayton was born on July 23, 1998 in the Bahamas and was raised by his mother Andrea and stepfather Alvin. And he would grow up near a relatively ran-down neighborhood. But his parents took it upon themselves to shield Ayton from the negativity and poverty that was near them. As a kid, Deandre mostly played soccer and even played instruments like the tuba and drums in a band. He didn't start playing basketball until age 12, and this is where he stood at a staggering 6'7". But he was so uncoordinated and new to the game that he found himself kicking and playing soccer with the basketball, which led kids laughing at him and also calling him tall for nothing, which really affected his pride, but ultimately motivated him and gave him the fuel and fire to really lock in and become more fundamentally sound. That summer, Ayton started working a summer job with his stepfather, who was a plumber. Ayton would make $20 a day, working 5 days a week. And after doing this for 1 week, he used the $100 he earned to enroll in a local basketball camp, which improved his game some. Deandre had great size and was pretty mobile for his age. As Deandre got closer to high school, his jump shot would start to look a bit more prolific and poised. He would start to turn heads around the area, and although he wasn't dominating on the national stage yet, his game was still able to attract the attention of an assistant basketball coach from a professional team in Mexico, who ended up introducing Ayton to some AAU coaches in Southern California. And in the midst of potentially establishing a way on Deandre coming to the US, his stepdad wasn't sure if sending his son to the US would be a good decision. But on the other hand, his mother was all for it, and so was Deandre. He knew this could be the route to take to get his family out of poverty. So with Ayton having the different coaches and connections around him, he was able to move from the Bahamas to San Diego and attended Bahamas City School. He started to showcase his game in different tournaments around Portland and Salt Lake City, and he would slowly start making a name for himself. So in 2013, while being in the middle school Pangos All-American camp, Ball is Life ranked Deandre as the best 8th grader in the nation. So by his freshman season at Bahamas City School, it was somewhat clear by now that Deandre could be one of the best next big men in his class and could really be special in the near future. So by his sophomore season, he led his team averaging 21 points, 16 rebounds, along with 4 blocks. But just as a junior, Deandre by now was 6'11", and he would transfer to Hillcrest Prep in Phoenix, Arizona, and played alongside Marvin Bagley. And this is where Deandre nearly lost his mind, dominating, averaging 29 points, 17 rebounds, along with 4 blocks per game, solidifying himself as the best big man in the nation. But as a senior, he led his team to a 33-6 record, averaging 26 points, 15 rebounds, with 4 blocks per contest. And to wrap up his senior season, he was granted to be a McDonald's All-American while being ranked 3rd in the 2017 ESPN Top 100. This led the 5-star recruit to sign the letter of intent to play basketball at the University of Arizona. And as a freshman, Ayton simply dominated, showing a superb amount of confidence with his face-up mid-range game while displaying his widespread variety of moves in the post. He was able to put up 20 points, 12 rebounds, along with 2 assists per game. Now, towards the end of the season, there was accusations around Deandre Ayton allegedly receiving $100,000 from Arizona's head coach, Sean Miller. But despite the accusations, Deandre still played the remainder of the season. He ended the season being named Pac-12 Player of the Year and Freshman of the Year. He was also voted to be on the first team All-American and received the Karl Malone Award. With Deandre being projected to go number 1 in the NBA draft throughout his freshman season, prior to the draft, Puma would sign Deandre Ayton to a multi-million-dollar shoe deal. Deandre would then enter his name in the 2018 NBA draft, and he would go number 1 to the Phoenix Suns, being the franchise's first ever number 1 draft pick. Ayton went on to have a pretty solid rookie season, being able to average a double-double, putting up 16 points and 10 rebounds, which allowed him to be voted on the All-Rookie first team and finish 3rd in Rookie of the Year voting. Now, going into his second year with the new head coach addition, Monty Williams, things would start off with Ayton facing some controversy, because after finishing the season opener going for 18 points, 11 rebounds, and 4 blocks, the NBA suspended Ayton for 25 games after testing positive for a banned substance that was found in Ayton's system and was in violation of the NBA anti-drug policy. Ayton would go on to average 18 points, 12 rebounds, and 2 assists per game. And although the Suns did finish 12th in the West, they showed flashes of what great team they could become in the near future, as they maintained an undefeated record in the 2020 NBA bubble. But going into the offseason, the Suns acquired Chris Paul, a player that could be that veteran leader and someone who could also potentially lead the young core to some postseason success. Ayton really gravitated towards Chris and used his quickness and size to become that lob threat. Ayton showed out in his first NBA playoff debut. This is where he scored 21 points along with 16 rebounds and simply dominated his matchups. He went on to average 16 points along with 12 rebounds and 1 assist in the 2021 NBA playoffs. But the biggest highlight moment of his career thus far was on Game 2 versus the Clippers in the Western Conference Finals. Ayton scored a game-winning alley-oop dunk to win the game, but the run would end for the Suns as they lost to the Bucks 4-2 in the NBA Finals. But going into the 2022 NBA season, with the Suns not wanting to sign Ayton to a max contract and potentially wanting to move on from him, Chris Paul and the Suns were determined to run it back and somehow get back to the NBA Finals, but this time capitalize. The Suns would have an outstanding 2022 NBA regular season, having the best record in the NBA, and head coach Monty Williams was even named to be head coach of the year. Ayton averaged 17 points with 10 rebounds per contest. He even recorded a career high, putting up 35 points along with 14 rebounds in a win versus the Minnesota Timberwolves on March 23rd. But with Chris Paul, Devin Booker, and Deandre Ayton as a whole not playing up to par throughout the playoffs, and with the team as a whole looking out of sort at times, head coach Monty Williams felt as though Ayton gave up on the team, as the Suns simply underperformed, allowing Luka and the Mavs to have their way. So going into the 2022 NBA offseason, with the organization making it clear that Deandre wasn't worthy of a max contract, with no hesitation, the Phoenix Suns matched the offer sheet that Deandre Ayton signed with the Indiana Pacers. With Deandre having the right pieces and leaders around him along with the championship caliber coach, if he can get back on the same page with the team and really reaches that next level, while also becoming that dominant force on a nightly basis, he can be a big part and help on leading his team to an NBA championship, and furthermore solidify himself to be a solid superstar in today's NBA. But despite things not ending the way he wanted them to this season, he's truly represented and has and still is inspiring the younger generation to dream big and to be determined and never give up on yourself. And that's what no doubt allowed him to level up to where he is today. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Deandre Ayton story.